Hey,
We're here to update you.
we're doing our monthly garden update. It's a dog that won't shut up in the background.
That's Charlie.
We're going to show you the garden here in a couple minutes. Today we've been working on getting some other plantings done. We planted 6 grapevines, 3 apple trees today.
Yes.
Along with some other odds and ends. So this is the yard part of our yard, which we don't do very much with. There's an annoying dog down there. So we've planted, I don't know that you can even see them from here, but we planted these grapevines down the fence line. Already flowering here. We've got 3 of them down this side that are reds. 3 along the outside of the fence there that are whites. And some apple trees. 2 red delicious and 1 golden delicious. I don't know if I mentioned them in the last video that I did for the garden update, but late last year we planted raspberries and blackberries. We planted them in like August or September, way out of season.
Yeah.
So I was pretty much worried that they weren't going to come back this year. And of the 4 raspberries so far, 2 of them are looking pretty good. And of the 4 blackberries, it looks like all 4 of them are going to come back. So I'll show you those real quick. These are the raspberries here. You can see them starting to come back there. This one's not really showing any signs of life on it.
This one I think is okay because it doesn't have leaves, so it looks strong like the other ones.
You can see here, this one's got a couple of growths off of it here. These are all raspberries.
Let me show the...
And that is the Ruth Stout for the potatoes, which we still haven't planted yet. I need to figure out what we're doing with those. We're going on vacation in a week. Might try to get those planted this week. If not, they'll go on the ground as soon as we get back. So we've got our blackberries planted along this little makeshift trellis here. They don't have a whole lot of life, but you can see some new growth there. This one's not showing any signs of new growth as of yet. I say no signs, it's got that.
It's something.
It's practically no signs. This one's looking pretty good. And then you've got this one here, which has a considerable amount of growth on it. So if nothing else, we'll have 1 good vine. So we have this raised planter here we picked up last year for 20 bucks. And we've added some more compost and some perlite to this today. So that's getting ready to be planted out. This will be growing greens. Mostly lettuce and maybe spinach or cabbage. And then since the last time we showed the garden, it's now looking like this. Still a work in progress, obviously. But I'll show you what we've done here. So it was 1 month ago where this was just 3 beds sitting out in the middle of the yard. We've put a gate in, some fence posts, high fence post here. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but I've got 4-foot wire fencing here. And then I've come back and I've put these crosses of trapping wire across the top between all these sections for any deer that may want to jump over this fence. Hopefully that'll deter them. I need to come back and add some streamers to it, make it a little more visible. I know how to properly build a fence, and I didn't build this the proper way because I wasn't expecting to have any livestock that was going to mess with this, so I didn't bother to tie my corners out. And when I went to put this deer deterrent on top, it started to pull the poles in. So I've got a lot more play than I would like in the fencing here, but it's technically only up to keep the chickens out and the deer from wanting to walk through, and I think it'll do that job. So down here we have put wood shavings. These are all cedar shavings, and I picked these up last year for $1 a bag from a guy that owns a mill. I don't know, I want to say we had about 14-15 bags, something like that, in here. It only does roughly half the garden, so I've got to do the rest. These aren't chips, they're shavings, so they're not going to last terribly long. I'd originally picked them up to use for bedding for the chickens, but I later realized that the fumes from the cedar wood weren't good for the chicken's respiratory system, so I didn't want to use them inside the coop, so we used the pine shavings that we pick up at Tractor Supply. We've got again, I don't know how well this will show up. I've got too much sun to really be able to tell right now, so I'll see it in editing, I suppose. But we put up cattle panel in between these beds for trellises, so we will plant right along here. They'll have plenty of room to grow. I'm 6 foot, I don't know, I used to be 6'4", but I had back surgery and I'm old and shrinking, but I've probably got 7 foot, close to 7 foot of clearance in here, at least 6'8", 6'10" of clearance. All we did was drive T-post into the bed. These are 2 16-foot by 50-inch cattle panels in each trellis section. Drove 2 T-posts in there, 2 T-posts over here, bent the trellis in half, just placed it inside in between the wood for the garden box and the trellis, or and the T-post. And that seems to hold it in place pretty good. I don't think they're going anywhere. I'm not worried about any high winds or anything doing anything to these at this point. If it looks like it's going to be problematic, I can come back and tie these with wire up against the T-post solidly, but I don't think it's going to be an issue. So as you can see, we finished the other 7 beds, which gives us 10 4-foot by 8-foot beds. We filled the 7 new beds with compost, and then we added some perlite to them this time.
And some rabbit poop.
And rabbit poop. And then this was an older bed. We topped off a bit more compost in it and added some perlite to it. So the only 2 that don't have perlite are these 2 old ones, and this one's already planted out with garlic. This one's already planted out with strawberries if they decide to come back.
We have some over here. We have some right here. I mean, it stands a chance now that we kept the chickens out for a couple weeks. So we have some there, here, here. So yeah, we might have a chance. And then a little bit over
There's a few popping up. So if they throw off runners, I don't know we'll get much, but
I'll
We
be
can
surprised
fill
if we
the
get
bed up
anything
again.
this
If
year.
they throw new runners this year, then maybe next year we'll be in decent shape.
Yeah.
Garlic, however, is going nice and strong.
And this will be your baby.
That's the best stuff that comes out of the garden anyway, right there. So you can see
Oh, the bees are going crazy today.
it's a really warm day out. Bees are happy.
The substantially nicest day we've had yet.
So I put the fence, I ran a post pretty far out here and gave us a lot of open ground inside here, inside the fence. The intention is going to be to line a bunch of planters and buckets out here. Going to be able to do some flowers in there. Going to be able to do, in some of the larger containers, I might try playing with some potatoes, depending on whether or not what we have for seed potatoes fills the Ruth Stout or not. There's just some cardboard laying down here that we brought out today. It was the last of the cardboard that we had left. That's just to keep down any weeds that decide they want to grow up. It's not too bad back here. This is mostly moss. It was worse in the front. But it looks pretty nice there where we've got the chips down. So once we can get the rest of this filled in. So I think what I'm going to do for the rest of this is we have lots of woods. There are lots of dead and old branches laying around on the ground out here. I've also got more woods back there, more back there, more back there. So I think what we're going to do is collect up those sticks and run them through the chipper and use that to finish off this half of the garden.
Well, we have a couple small dead trees that we're going to take down.
We just got a lot of dead leaves laying around in here right now. And then we left openings up here in the front as well, so we can put more containers, flower pots and such up here. Plenty of extra space. Maybe a small potting table or something up here as
Maybe a
well.
couple
I just haven't
chairs.
found a free one yet.
Well, a couple chairs and a small table. We kind of have a couple areas out here to sit and relax and enjoy the beauty of our garden.
Got a pile of planters there. We bought
Just the blue
some
ones.
of those, but the rest of them were all freebies. And all of that potting mix and such was all free. We'll use that. We'll have to get a little bit more compost together to finish this off, but that won't be an issue. So yep, that is the update. I didn't miss anything, did I? I don't think so.
Nope. I think that's it.
I'm Andy.
I'm Tia.
Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to subscribe.
And hit the bell icon to subscribe so that you get notifications when we post new videos.
And don't forget the thumbs up.
Thanks.
Thank you.